Hey guys, it's Jody with Admin Remix, and in this video, we are going to talk about the reasons for cybersecurity for your district. So since the pandemic, a lot of districts had to go online right after March of 2020, and we had to get our district and our schools ready for online resources, right? We had to reach out to those kids and let them know that we were still going to teach them, we were going to let them learn, and we wanted to check in on them. Well, then after that, some districts went back to school in August, some waited until September, and then some waited the entire year. Our district here in Texas went back right in September, at the end of August, maybe. It was all kind of a blur. And then we continued to grow with our technology in our classroom. So cybersecurity was really still very important and very pertinent in our lives. So we're going to talk about some of the reasons for cybersecurity maintenance and using it. Let's talk about some of the keywords in cybersecurity. So let's discuss some of the keywords that we're going to talk about when we're talking about cybersecurity. So we'll start with cyber actors. Cyber actors is a person or a group or an entity of any sort that will try to gain access, and most of the time will gain access to make an incident and aim impact at your security. Districts have become aware of the online impact these actors have had in your students' lives. So we need to make sure that we're continuing to make our students also aware of those cyber actors. So cyber actors actually start by phishing your students through emails, social media, online personalities that they may have. So phishing is another one. Phishing is a fraudulent attempt to obtain personal information, especially from these students where they aren't really sure who they're talking to, and they'll think that it's someone that they can trust. So they'll go and sometimes give away birth dates, social security numbers, where they live, very personal details. And then those cyber actors will do a few things. They'll start doxing that student, and they'll get all that personal intel that they got from that student and start releasing it on the internet. That's usually a malicious intention to get back at that student somehow, even though they don't know that person, that child, in any way, shape, or form. They just want to hurt anyone. Besides doxing, they'll also just take these children's information. A lot of cyber actors have actually stolen information from district firmware and are using it to hold it as ransom. This is known as ransomware attacks, and that has become very prevalent in districts nationwide. Moving back to doxing, students that have been doxed will also um, not tell anyone that they have been doxed or that it is a threat for them to have all of their personal information put out there. So they'll actually end up committing suicide just to keep this secret so that when it does come out, nobody will hold it against them. So that is something also that we need to warn our students about. Things that you can control inside of your district. You do, of course, want to know about doxing and phishing and the ransomware attacks, because you need to control that within your district. If anyone is using anything that is school associated, like emails or accounts, you want to make sure that none of that is coming in through your school associated accounts. Other things that you need to be aware of is domain spoofing. Domain spoofing is anything that's registered domain accounts that are similar to something that a student may go to. Maybe they're going to your website, but they accidentally type in a .ner instead of .net, and it puts them into the wrong web page. So that's a domain spoofing. It's usually very close to your URL, but when they mistype it, it'll put them into a different domain. The end of life software. End of life is any out of date software and equipment that's no longer receiving patches or software updates, technical support, bug fixes. It makes the user vulnerable to attacks. That makes sure that your district wants to update anything and all of your things as soon as possible. Make sure that you get some software that can automatically update all your computers. Something that helped me last year during virtual teaching when I was doing my conferencing is making sure that my software was up to date as well as my student software for that video conferencing. It also makes sure that nothing can be attacked during it. It goes back up to that last thing that we talked about, the end of life. You want to make sure that both the staff and the students have the most recent version of whatever you're using. Require passwords for session access. It helps you just to make sure that the right people are coming in and that nobody can just get into your conference from anywhere and everywhere. Also, make sure that students aren't sharing the password to your video conference. Have a waiting room to make sure that you know who's coming in and people can't just pop in. Or if you've banned someone, that if they come in, they're sitting in the waiting room and you don't allow access to them. Also, make sure that you as a host are the first person that can enter the video conference. Establish policies that require participants to sign in using their real names. Don't let them come in with fake names. Don't let them come in with the signal waiting or whatever it is that they do to make it look like they aren't really there or they're trying to be there, but their signal's out. Make sure that they're using their real names. Ensure that only the host can show their screen at all times. If there is a time where a student needs to present something, then you may want to access that differently, but make sure that you are in charge of sharing screens. Implement a policy that prevents the host from exiting prior to the departure of all participants. You want to make sure that you as the host are the last one to leave, that kids aren't around after. It's just like if you were in a classroom, that you wouldn't leave with all your kids in the classroom. Okay, you want to make sure that you are the last one, you shut and lock that door. CISA.org had a prep list of preventative attacks. So I picked out a couple and I have them right here. A few that stood out to me, I'm not going to read the whole list for you, but just again, make sure that your software and everything is up to date. Regularly change those passwords. Don't use passwords that you use at home. Use some that are different. Multi-factor authentication where possible. Make sure you have your antivirus, anti-malware solutions automatically updated and on regular updates as well. And configure network firewalls to block unauthorized IP addresses. What else can you do? Please make sure you continue to teach cybersecurity to your students in your district. Remind them not to give out personal information, especially to those that they don't know or anyone at all online. That's very important. Bringing technology into school is great, right? It helps your teachers, it helps your students reach broader horizons in our curriculum. Social media is also something that's very big in our students' lives right now. So technology is not going away, and we don't ask that it does, but we do ask that you continue as a district to help those students learn and grow and make sure that they protect themselves and their identity online. They need to be taught how to stay safe online now more than ever. Y'all have a great day.